So, well, you just like say something goofy and then you catch shit for it?
Oh, yeah. It's totally... Things go downhill fast. And, it's usually over something completely benign. Well, what we were talking about earlier this week, I was trying to get to the studio, just made a comment about the marathon and, it was something like, runners, can't we just get a track or something like that? Just something completely benign. And a couple of people that I'm friends with that are runners kind of took that the wrong way. And, it's about something completely different, but I made a comment, kind of to be funny, and then you end up,
did you feel
it's
remorseful?
it's just not on Facebook. I say this stuff all the time to friends, and they're like, oh my God, why am I friends with this guy? But, it is what it is.
Yeah, you were honking about it out front earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
I made a comment today while my wife and I were driving, and I saw this person walking down Kiwanis on the sidewalk, and I'm like, Jesus. And they were waddling. I'm like, holy fuck, look at that person waddling. They look like a fucking retard in that Culpepper jersey. And as we drove by, she goes, Bill, that wasn't very nice. He actually looks mentally handicapped. And I'm like, obviously, he's wearing a fucking Culpepper jersey. That was my response. Like, fuck, I'm not remorseful for it.
See, I think there are...
And might I add...
Am I going to put that on social media? Other than just now?
I'm going to have to leave. No, for me, what you just said kind of is probably where I draw the line. I would tell you this.
I wouldn't be making fun of.
Right.
I was making the joke about there being a 5-year-old.
But when people use, you can say it a slightly different way, and it's not quite as
right.
It's different when it's just you and your wife, but still, like to be like that person's fucking retarded. It kind of, it offends me, and I'm not.
I wouldn't look at somebody mentally handicapped and go, "Wow, what a fucking retard."
Yeah,
but when I'm behind them and don't know, and I go, "Guy looks retarded in a
yeah," but if you just
jersey.
you could just cut the word retarded out and make it still offensive and less. I don't know. Maybe I'm too PC.
I still use the word retarded. And, I'm a child of the late '80s, so I say retarded and fag.
Right. See, I have a problem with both of those,
and I say them to my gay friends.
I'll drop fags and gays, not on. Not really thinking about it, just kind of.
So can I throw something? Sorry, let me just throw something in about this. I have a friend who passed away almost 2 years ago. He died of AIDS, and he was gay, and I didn't know that he was gay, and for a long time. And we worked together, and there was I had found out basically I found out because he had alligator skin shoes. I was like, oh. Not many straight dudes have alligator skin shoes.
Now who's the homophobe?
And, it didn't affect me at all. We were great friends, and as I found out that he was HIV positive, some of this stuff came out. One day we were working, and this manager at the place we worked together came up, and he said, and this is a quote, I would never condone anything like this. He said, "That's work not even wetbacks would do." Oof. And this was a manager of the store, and I said, "Dude, you can't say that. You cannot go there, And especially, we were right around the corner from this dude that was an immigrant from El Salvador. And, he was kind of an ignorant dude himself, whatever. Well, he left, and Brian and I were standing there, and Brian was like, wow, And a little bit later, that I confronted him right there. A little bit later, the Hispanic guy said something in front of Brian, like within 10 minutes, the Hispanic dude said something in front of Brian and I can't hear myself now, sorry about that, about fags. And I didn't stand up to him, and I didn't say anything, because Brian wasn't really outed, but we had a long conversation about it afterwards, and, I just think you have to, we're all intelligent enough to not use that terminology, because there are friends of ours who are gay. I don't know. I don't mean to hijack the whole conversation, but I think it's important, and I look at Bill, I look at you, and I know you're intelligent enough to not have to use that. When you're drunk, you probably say whatever you want.
I think you took it a little farther than the reality of how I use these words or when I use them. No.
I'm just saying, you can use them on a totally benign level, but there's no situation where you would say wetback on a totally benign level. No. And why is faggot any different than that? It's not. It's really not. To the people it affects, it's no different.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but I think it's there's no,
I think it's an idiom of growing up when I did. And
Right,
where
yeah,
I
there's,
did.
like, no
I still say choice and rad, too.
Yeah, but
I say stoked a lot.
But
I'll
think
fucking type out stoked. It's not even in my fucking phone.
yeah, that's true.
Autocorrect. I got to get to that shit.
But I think I mean I grew up in that era too, and I got called a fag in school and everything else, and I just don't think I think you're intelligent enough to not use it.
Scott and Bill both called me a fag before the show.
I think for me, it's all like a idea of intention and company. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this is what you're talking about. We're out there everywhere. So anybody who's listening
right
to this,
now,
here's you say that on the air.
I would never on this radio show, like, just in passing, be like, "Oh, Shane, quit being such a fag." No. But I wouldn't do that because I think that I'm like a normal, aware person who's like, "Oh, okay, there are times you do and times you don't do things." So, like, I have no negative intentions when I say that. But if I'm with you alone, and I know that when I say it to you, you're not going to think like, "Oh man, this guy hates gay people."
Right.
Then
I might be like, "Hey, fag." You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's right. I'm not justifying it.
No, I know.
But I'm saying the situational use of something does, have some effect. But yeah, you're right. In public, I would never probably.
Let's go back to Louis C.K. since you brought him up earlier, because he does a whole bit on that. It's fucking gay. Quit being fucking gay. It's fucking, and I'm not using it like homosexual sex or anything like that, or putting somebody down. When in Louis C.K.'s bit, it's like, well, that's just fucking, it's weak. And I understand, and I don't go out of my way to do that.
The weakness is
that's
sort
the
of
point.
the dig.
I don't go out of my way to do this. I'm not.
The people that you know are gay. Are they weak?
No, and that's not what I'm saying either. It's
I know
exactly
it's not
what I said.
I know it's not your intention. I'm not saying it's your intention. It's just it's a word that just has that. It has that within it.
It's the same thing as using an N-word. Anything really. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
It's just like a negative
for somebody who is on the downside of oppression. To hear that word in any context is not whatever the word is. Pick the word.
Right.
I will pick a word, hunky.
Yeah, but honkies really aren't looked down on. I love honkies.
Well, they're not looked down on by you.
That's true. That word never really.
If you're in the minority, honky was never.
Well,
there isn't one for white people.
Saltine, cracker, Jew.
Yeah,
that's one I get quite a bit.
Yeah.
Are you Jewish?
I am.
Nice.
But in the right context, it's okay to call Shane a weird Jew.
Yeah, that's true.
And Jew are usually the ones saying it.
Jew too.
You do say it a lot. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
It is in knowing your audience. I agree completely with that. But at the same time, there's so much gray area. I mean, I had my second cousin was one of the first males with HIV to die in Sioux Falls. But he had such a sense of humor about it. Like, you could joke with him all day. And it was like, I don't know. It all depends on the individual. It all depends on their life experience and how they feel about it.
And if he knows you, it's a lot. He'll joke about it. But if he
Situational
hears somebody he
intention.
doesn't know.
Yeah, if his boss is saying it to him, it's a different story.
Right.
Yeah. Situational intention. Language isn't scary or bad. Language is great, but it can be dangerous.
Incendiary.
And we are in a medium which uses nothing but
language. Vulgar language at that.
Hey, that's what you call it.
That's what I love to call it. That's what I like about it.
You're so suburban. You think that's vulgar? Let's get out of this. Okay.
All right. Sorry.
So I started all this by saying I love it when people hijack interviews and say whatever they want to say and change it to just be what they think it should be. So I think I wanted to go through a bunch of different people who have really gone into an interview and then just shit all over it. And it just kept coming back to the same thing, which is the king of all time of doing this is definitely Mike Tyson. The greatest interviewee back in the day when he was the champ. He gave the greatest interviews ever. So let's just hear a tiny segment of his before we move on from this.
Nice.
Great.
I won't talk nice to you and talk about fornicating with you and letting you suck my because if I was eloquent with you, you would still look at me as a scumbag. I may like fornicating more than other people. It's just who I am. I sacrificed so much of my life. Can I at least get laid? You know what I mean? I've been robbed of most of my money. Can I at least get a blowjob? If I wish one of your guys had children, if I could kick them in their fucking head or stomp on their testicles for you can feel my pain because that's the pain I have, waking up every day.
You can't touch me, you're not man enough. I'll eat your ass on alive, you bitch. How anybody in here can fuck with this, man, This is the ultimate, man. Fuck you, you hoe. Come and say in my face. Fuck you, ass for everybody. You bitch. Come on, you bitch. You're scared coward. You're not man enough to fuck with me. You can't last 2 minutes in my world, bitch. Look at you scared now, you hoe. Scared like a little white pussy. Scared of the real man. I'll fuck you till you love me, faggot. I'll fuck you till you love me, faggot.
Oh.
I normally don't do interviews with women unless I fornicate with them. So you shouldn't talk anymore. Unless you want to,
His brand new reality show started this afternoon. By the way, on Fox Sports 1. Yeah, Being Mike.
All right, Fox Sports 1, Being Mike. Thank you, Iron Mike.
The last documentary was great. Did you guys see that? The Tyson documentary?
No.
I'm sure there's been like 10 or 20 of them.
The one on Netflix now?
I think so. I think it might be. It's only about an hour and a half long, but it's great. I think there was a bunch of that footage that came from that one. But he's so, the whole fucking documentary, he's just in tears and up in arms about how shitty he used to be.
Yeah, I love Iron Mike.
I do too.
He's a champ.
He always used to
fair
make
enough,
so many-
Walt. He is not speaking appropriately. That is absolute. That is
Oh, yeah.
raw,
Oh, yeah.
emotional anger coming out of a man who can't take it anymore, and he must actually have sex with somebody who is unwilling to have sex with him to make himself just feel better.
To make them love him.
He
Yeah, I
would
think he
love
said,
me.
I'm going to fuck you till you love me.
You
Yeah.
bet he did, and he's right.
I'm going to kick his children in the head.
I wonder how long
He's
that
always making
takes.
comments about children.
In the case of Iron Mike, very short. You will be saying "I love you" real quick.
I love you.
2 pumps. Yeah, 1 pump in. You're like, yep, definitely love you, Mike.
Love you! Love you!
Ah, boy. Okay, we need to go to break. Before we do, I just want to bring up quickly. Maybe this isn't the best time to do this. It's probably not fair to bring it up right now. So actually, we're just
You can wait on that one.
We're gonna go to break.
I can
quick.
say I instantly was thinking of there's some gas station has a new milkshake, like you fucking shake your own milkshakes, and there's a sign for a cake batter milkshake that the slogan is "tastes better than love."
Sounds like a trip to the restroom.
It sounds like as Scott famously quoted, a quick trip to the clinic.
Yeah.
Famously.
Batter milkshake
Yeah.
that tastes better than
Famous.
love.
All right, we'll see you in just 1 minute.